Welcome to today's Explainer. Today, we're taking a close look at literally one of the most high-stakes battlegrounds in modern medicine. We're talking about the fight against deadly brain tumors and how the cutting-edge science of nanomedicine is stepping up to the plate. We're going to explore how microscopic engineering might just hold the key to defeating a disease that has completely outsmarted traditional therapies for decades. Okay, let's dive right in. 14.6. That is the median survival time in months for patients diagnosed with glioblastoma multiforme, or GBM. It's a heavy, sobering statistic, and unfortunately, it's the reality that patients face even after undergoing incredibly aggressive standard treatments. To see how nanomedicine might actually rewrite that statistic, here's our roadmap for today. First, the glioblastoma challenge. Second, meet polymeric micelles. Third, loading the payload. Fourth, clinical trial successes, and finally, targeting the brain. Part 1. The glioblastoma challenge, an unmet medical need. So, glioblastoma multiforme, commonly called GBM, is the most frequent, and sadly, the most deadly, primary brain tumor found in adults. It's classified as a grade 4 astrocytoma. To really put the severity of this into perspective, even though it's the most common primary adult brain tumor, the 5-year survival rate for these patients still hovers at less than 10%. And if we look at the standard of care, honestly, it hasn't changed a whole lot in over a decade. Patients typically receive radiotherapy alongside a chemotherapy drug called temozolomide. Now, medical science has definitely tried throwing other things at it, using nanoparticle agents like liposomal doxorubicin, anti-angiogenics to starve the tumor, and even convection-enhanced delivery to literally pump drugs straight into the brain. But a true cure? It's still elusive. The blood-brain barrier acts like an absolute fortress, keeping our best weapons out. We desperately need a totally new kind of delivery vehicle. Which brings us to part 2. Meet polymeric micelles, the microscopic delivery vehicle. So what exactly is a polymeric micelle? Well, by definition, they are spontaneously self-assembling amphiphilic block copolymers. Sounds like a mouthful, right? But basically, they are smart molecules that both love and hate water at the exact same time. When you drop them into a watery environment, like our bloodstream, they automatically form tiny nanoparticles, roughly 10 to 100 nanometers in size. And that specific size is absolutely critical. They're just large enough to prevent rapid renal clearance, meaning your kidneys won't immediately filter them out, but they're tiny enough to navigate deep into the body's tissues. It's really a brilliant two-part design based entirely on contrast. On the inside, you have a hydrophobic core, made of materials like PLA, PGA, or polyamino acids, which strongly repels water. Think of this as the cargo hold, where the drug is safely tucked away. Then, on the outside, you have a hydrophilic shell, often made of polyethylene glycol, or PEG, which loves water. This outer shell acts as a disguise. It stops proteins from sticking to the micelle, allowing the whole thing to stealthily navigate the watery bloodstream undetected. Beyond just the core shell structure, these micelles have a few crucial characteristics that make them perfect for nanomedicine. They're highly biocompatible and allow for incredibly flexible design modifications. But the most vital feature for sure is their super low critical micelle concentration, or CMC. Think of the CMC as the exact threshold where a micelle falls apart into individual pieces, kind of like a soap bubble popping. Because polymeric micelles have a much lower CMC than standard surfactants, they have incredible in vivo stability. They stay fully intact long enough to travel through the blood, penetrate the tumor, and drop off their payload without breaking down prematurely. Moving right along to part 3, loading the payload, the cellular heist. To actually pull off this delivery heist, these micelles take advantage of a biological loophole known as the EPR effect. That stands for enhanced permeability and retention. It is exactly the vulnerability in a tumor's armor that our microscopic vehicles are designed to exploit. Here's how the EPR heist goes down, in 2 distinct steps. Step 1. Tumors grow so aggressively fast that the blood vessels they build are terrible and leaky. Our micelles are perfectly sized just to fuse right out of this disrupted vasculature and directly into the tumor tissue. Then comes step 2. Tumors have notoriously poor lymphatic drainage, so once those micelles leak into the tumor, they can't get flushed back out. They accumulate and get securely trapped inside the tumor environment, right where we need them to be. And what exactly can we load into these trapped micelles? Honestly, an incredible variety of therapeutics. The hydrophobic core can easily carry traditional chemotherapy drugs like doxorubicin or cisplatin, basically holding on to them like a molecular sponge. But with just a few engineering tweaks, they can carry proteins, genetic material like siRNA, and even super paramagnetic iron oxide particles used for imaging and thermotherapy. It's just a massively versatile delivery platform. Part 4. Clinical trials successes, the track record. The crucial point here is that this isn't just theory. Micelle formulations are already succeeding in human trials today. Genixol PM, which is loaded with paclitaxel, is showing great responses in breast, pancreatic, and lung cancers. NK105 is successfully targeting gastric and colorectal cancers. NC6004 is out there delivering cisplatin to various solid tumors. Because the toxic chemo drugs are shielded inside the micelle, doctors can actually deliver much higher, far more effective doses to the patient with significantly less systemic toxicity. But here's the catch. Despite this amazing track record in the rest of the body, none of these specific clinical formulations are currently aimed at treating patients with glioblastoma, or any other brain tumors for that matter. The brain remains the absolute hardest battleground, and it's largely untested by these specific micellar platforms in human trials. And that brings us to our final section, Part 5. Targeting the brain, the final frontier. Enter our leading microscopic candidate for GBM, NK012. It's an engineered micelle carrying a payload called SN38, which is an incredibly potent active metabolite of the chemotherapy drug CPT11. How potent are we talking? Well, in laboratory tests on human glioma cell lines, NK012 was shown to be anywhere from 34 to 444 times more potent than standard CPT11. And the preclinical data, it's just phenomenal. In mouse models, they compared a control group to a group receiving a massive, heavy dose of standard chemotherapy. But the mice receiving less than half that dose of the NK012 micelle actually survived significantly longer. Actually, scratch that. It gets even more astounding. In models of orthotopic intracranial tumors, meaning these are tumors actually growing inside the brain, NK012 acting entirely as a monotherapy provided greater survival improvements than a really powerful combination of standard CPT11 and the anti-angiogenic drug bevacizumab. Let that sink in. The micelle, acting completely alone, defeated a potent drug cocktail right where it matters most, deep inside the brain. Now, just to ground this excitement in reality for a second, it's important to know that NK012 has already entered phase 1 clinical trials for other cancers, like colorectal, pancreatic, and lung. In those trials, 12.5% of patients showed partial responses, and a massive 62.5% maintained stable disease. This is huge because it proves NK012 is safe enough for human use, laying the exact foundation we need for future brain tumor clinical trials. We started this explainer looking at a pretty devastating 14.6-month survival statistic. But as we've explored today, nanomedicine is engineering a highly structured, highly targeted way to break the siege on the brain, which leaves us with one incredibly exciting question. If polymeric micelles can successfully conquer the blood-brain barrier and treat the deadliest of brain tumors, what deadly disease will nanomedicine cure next? Thank you so much for exploring the science with me today.